One sees that chaos in the world is rapidly increasing. Billions are being spent on arms. Social justice is being eroded. Governments, both totalitarian and democratic, are increasingly aggressive. Though one sees the necessity of much deeper, fundamental human change, could the speaker comment on the issue of active political involvement? One sees that chaos in the world is rapidly increasing. Billions are being spent on arms. Social justice is being eroded. Governments, both totalitarian and democratic, are increasingly aggressive and violent. Though one sees the necessity of much deeper, fundamental human change, could the speaker comment on the issue of active political involvement? Am I democratic or Republican? Is that it? Apart from the joking, why, if one may ask, why do we have such great confidence in political leaders? It is the same issue in all the countries, in France, in England, here in India, and so on. Why? We put such confidence in the economists, in the politicians, in the leaders. Why do we do this? And what do we mean by political action? Please, we are inquiring together. You're not just listening to the speaker, waiting for his explanation and answer. We are thinking together over this problem, which is really a very serious problem, which is affecting the whole of mankind. Some political group, democratic, comes into power, conservative or Labour or Republican or Democrats, and they seem to have such extraordinary power, position and authority, and we follow them. They tell us what to do, and we accept them. Why is it that sense of trust in them and their accepting their judgments? We are sent to war, according to some rulers, government officials, and thousands are being killed because their majority has voted them into power, position, and direction. And we merely, like sheep, follow them. Generally, they appeal to our lowest instincts, to our national pride, honor, and all that business. And we are stimulated by all that, and we are willing to kill others for this, for a piece of land, and so on. Why? Why do we trust them? Please, you answer this question. And what do we mean by political action, which is different from all other actions? Why do we separate politics from our daily living? Why do we separate a political activity of the left, right, center, or extreme left, extreme right? Why, if one may ask, why is political action so very different from our action of relationship? Action with regard to fear in ourselves and so on. Or is politics part of our life, not something separate? That politics, as we explained the other day, according to common usage, which is in dictionary, is the art of government, science of government. Why do we give this art to the politician? They apparently are a separate breed, different from us. This is really a question that involves, why do we depend on a politician, a guru, a priest, on anybody to govern us? Please answer this question. Why do specialists take charge of our life? Is it that we have no so-called confidence in ourselves? We are not sure of ourselves, and we attribute this clarity to the politicians and to the others. Is it in ourselves that we are insufficient and somebody out there is going to make us sufficient? So, are we to treat life as separate factors, political, religious, economic, and so on? There's a new noise today. Or are we to treat life as a whole? Please question this. The questioner asks, what political action is there that one can take? That the questioner, perhaps one may be misjudging him. If one is, please forgive us. Is that action, political, different from religious action? From the action of an idealist? Or does one treat life, the whole living, learning, in colleges, universities, schools, relationship, fears, faith, anxiety, and political action, all, isn't that a whole way of living? Am I conveying this? Is it that we are so fragmented in ourselves as religious action, political action, family action, individual action, collective action, you follow? Or do we treat life as a total movement in which all these activities are included? But if we separate one from the other, we'll inevitably bring about contradiction. A religious life is incompatible, one will say, with political life. A religious person will have no part with politics, because generally politics is such a crooked affair, controlled by big industrialists, by wanting great deal of money for the party, now depending on rich people, and so on, so on, so on. So how do we, each one of us, answer this question? There is increase of armaments. Just now they are destroying each other, killing each other for God knows for what. And both the democratic world and the totalitarian world are becoming, as the questioner says, more and more aggressive. So how do you deal with this question? It's very easy to put questions. Very easy to put a question and try to find an answer from another. But if we have to answer this question ourselves, taking what is actually going on in the world, the national, religious, economic divisions, wars, tremendous spending of money on armaments, what's your answer? How would you answer this question? If we are Americans, we'll say America, our way is the best way, and so on, so on, so on. Or would you consider the right answer, the true answer is that we cannot separate these activities but treat life as a whole movement. And what is a political action? Would you like to start a new party, Social Democratic Party? Or look for a new leader for the next election, condemn the present leader, and when the new leader comes into being, next election, again there is doubt about him. You know, when the honeymoon is over, then begins the whole problem. So, what is your answer? Please go into for yourselves. What's your answer when you have thought it out deeply? Do you want to ask if there is an activity, if there is action, which is not divisible, an action that includes politics, religion, economy, everything, whole bundle of life. And how is that possible? One sees corruption right through the world. Black market, the rich people getting tremendously more rich. The privileged classes, and so on. Where do you begin to bring about an action that will include all actions? Where do you begin? To go very far, one must begin very near. Right? Exactly. So what is very near? Me. I'm the nearest person. So I begin not as a selfish activity or self-centered movement. I am the nearest, or I am the center from which I start. Not out there. Can I live a life that is absolutely not broken up? A religious life separate from all other life activities, but a life that is political, religious, you follow? Can I live that way? That implies, does it not, do I understand the whole separative activity completely, and in the comprehension of the separate activities which then become contradictory, conflicting, endless divisions? If I understand that very clearly, perceive it most not in abstraction or as an ideal or intellectually, but as a factual thing. From that observation, one will act which will be complete. Have I answered the question? If you are actually wanting to start a political action, new party, new group, new leader of your own, then I'm afraid you and I won't meet. We are back into the same old pattern. But we are saying a life that is complete, sufficient, psychologically, from that quality of mind and heart, then all action is included in that.